Hi, Vencore Weather meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Tuesday, November 25th. Tomorrow looks like it'll be the first significant snow event of the season for much of the Mid-Atlantic region, including the big cities from D.C. to Philadelphia to New York City. I have shown here the current thinking in terms of snowfall estimates from D.C. up across Philadelphia and into the New York City region. We'll talk about that in a moment. Today will be a dry day, relatively mild, but certainly not as warm as yesterday. It was indeed a record breaker on Monday in Philadelphia and in D.C. 72 degrees at Philly's airport and 74 at Reagan National were indeed records. Today will be cooler. Colder air starts to move in tonight. Precipitation arrives early tomorrow, late tonight, early tomorrow in the I-95 corridor, and it looks like an all-day event. The rain to snow line will be moving from the northwest to the southeast during the morning hours tomorrow, and for the most part it'll become all snow by later in the day up and down the I-95 corridor and certainly in the suburban locations to the north and west. The storm is a quick mover. Most of the snow should be out of this region by midnight tomorrow night, and there can be some snow showers on a Thursday morning, especially down across the D.C. metro region. Thursday will be a cloudy and cold day for this time of the year. Well, in typical fashion, the farther north one goes along the I-95 corridor, the more snow can be expected, and certainly farther to the north and west areas will get more snow than those to the south and east. I'm currently thinking 1 to 3 inches in the district, 2 to 4 in Philly, and 3 to 6 in New York, and kind of in a similar fashion, the suburban locations will get increasingly higher amounts as one goes from the south to the north along I-95. 3 to 6 inches in the northern and western suburbs of D.C., 4 to 8 in Philly, and 6 to 10 in the New York City northern and western suburbs. Lesser snow amounts to the south and east in all areas, with the least amount down along the eastern areas of the Delmarva Peninsula. The Jersey Shore can get anywhere from a coating to 2 inches, a coating to 1 inch just south and east of the district. Well, let's now get into the weather situation for the next 24 to 48 hours. Well, let's start off by looking at the latest nationwide radar image, and this is from the mesonet.org website. Just lots of precipitation here, a whole area of moisture from Florida, the eastern Gulf of Mexico, all the way up to the mid-Atlantic coastline right now. And this is the area that will ride right up the coast. Late last week we began talking about a couple of different upper level features, and the one hanging back, and we'll talk about that over the next couple of minutes, will help to intensify a storm development. By tomorrow night, about 8 p.m. or so tomorrow night, there will be a strong coastal storm, perhaps 75 to 100 miles off the mid-Atlantic coastline, with colder air wrapping around into the system, and all the morning rainfall should change over to snow during the afternoon in the I-95 corridor, with lots of accumulating snow as one moves farther to the north and west. Well, let's take a look at a few computer forecast maps for this upcoming snowstorm. This is the upper level, the 500 millibar map from last night's 0Z GFS model run. That's the operational model. We'll show actually the updated GFS in a couple of minutes here. But by tomorrow morning, we'll have two areas of energy in the upper part of the atmosphere. One right here, and a second one hanging back here, and this second one is going to play a crucial role here. But notice the winds along the east coast here, basically from the south or southwest to the northeast, and that's where that moisture will come from, and it'll have really trouble moving to the east out of the picture. With this kind of a wind flow here along the east coast, we have a long period of time here before all of this moisture will get on out of here. It is going to ride up along the coast over the next 24 hours or so. Let's now jump ahead 12 hours. Well, here's the forecast map for tomorrow evening, Wednesday evening, and here is a very vigorous upper level low, and this will tend to do a couple of things. First of all, we will have surface low pressure, perhaps 75 or 100 miles off the New Jersey coast at this time. Out ahead of this main short wave here is an area of upward motion. In this region right here, there will be rising air in the atmosphere thanks to this particular short wave, and that does two things that will help to intensify this storm system, which is crucial because that helps to pull in colder air during this event. And just the fact that there will be strong upward motion in the atmosphere will tend to cool off the atmosphere as well. We are starting off with a warm boundary layer. The lower levels of the atmosphere will be quite warm today into tonight, but with the intensification of this storm and the approach of this strong upper level feature, there should be some cooling in the upper part of the atmosphere that will allow for the rain to change over to snow. And by tomorrow night, temperatures should get down to about the freezing mark. May hold off till tomorrow night when we see temperatures near the freezing mark in the I-95 corridor. And that's somewhat good news because the initial outburst of snow tomorrow afternoon will certainly have trouble sticking on the roads, especially given the fact that the surface temperature should still be a few degrees above freezing during the daylight hours on Wednesday. So travel may not get too bad until late afternoon. At that time, the sun goes down, of course, loses the effectiveness of the sun on the roads, and the conditions can deteriorate in a hurry late tomorrow afternoon and especially early tomorrow night. Now let's take a look at a couple of surface maps from last night's 0Z GFS model run, and then we'll compare these to the updated version of the GFS model called the parallel version of the GFS. Very similar solutions right now. This is for tomorrow morning, low pressure off the Carolina coastline. This blue line right here represents basically freezing temperatures in the lowest part of the atmosphere, not quite down at the surface, but in the lower part of the atmosphere. Precipitation indicated here in the green shading moves in late tonight into the early part of tomorrow, most likely in the form of rain, perhaps a mixture of rain and snow at the onset. And then the rain-snow line will gradually move from southwest to northeast during the day as this storm system intensifies while moving to the north and east. At the same time, that upper level feature adds some dynamic cooling to the atmosphere as it plays a role later tomorrow and tomorrow night. Let's now jump ahead 12 hours. Well, here's the forecast map for tomorrow evening, Wednesday evening, and a strong coastal storm here sitting about 100 miles or so off the mid-Atlantic coastline, the New Jersey, New York City coastline here. Notice a little comma shape now, comma shape appearance on the cold side here starting to show up here, and all of this will be snow by this time tomorrow evening in the I-95 corridor from New York down to Philadelphia, down to New York City. And again, it's a relatively fast mover here at this point. All of the snow should be out of our out of the picture around here by midnight tomorrow night, and certainly well out of the picture by early Thursday morning. But a relatively fast mover here. And again, it's a great track for a snowstorm. However, it's what's missing from a usual highly confident snowstorm type of prediction is Arctic air in place. We have none of that for this storm. It's going to rely on the intensification of the storm, given that strong upper level feature to bring in the colder air, to draw in colder air from the north and west during the day tomorrow. But I believe that will indeed happen because of that strong upper level feature. Again, now let's take a look, compare the GFS to the updated version called the GFS Parallel. And here's the forecast map from the GFS Parallel for tomorrow morning. Very similar solution to the operational GFS. Low pressure off the Carolina coastline. The freezing line here in the lower part of the atmosphere just now moving south and east of the I-95 corridor, and precipitation getting underway. Let's now jump ahead 12 hours. And here's the GFS Parallel forecast map for tomorrow evening. Very similar solution, perhaps just a tad faster with the movement of the surface low, but a very nice comma shaped here, all in the form of snow at this time in the I-95 corridor, in the cold air here. Again, late tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening should be the worst in terms of driving conditions, with snow falling, temperatures dropping to near freezing, the first significant snow event of the season for the Mid-Atlantic region. That's it for now. Stay tuned for updates later today. I'm VencoreWeather.com meteorologist Paul Dorian.